Hi everyone, my name is Danielle Davis and I'm the Artistic Director of Opera Night Long Island, and I am also a soprano. I've been singing with Opera Night probably since 2009. My friend Jessica Stolte Bender brought me into it, who still sings with us to this day. And about 5 years ago or so, I stepped in as the artistic director. Isabella does so much and was doing it completely all by herself for so long, and was thinking about slowing down the series a little bit or stopping, and I didn't want that to happen because I love to sing and I love that everybody had the opportunity to sing. So I said, I'll help out, and I've been helping ever since. So it's a lot of fun. I get to work with a lot of different singers, bring people in from the city. We, of course, love to feature people from Long Island. We've also had singers from Connecticut and New Jersey. So that's been a lot of fun. The pieces and composers that I really love are basically anything by Puccini or Verdi, and also some Strauss and Wagner. But I also like to switch it up from all that tragedy that I sing about and sing some crossover pieces to be fun and silly and light. One of my favorites that I sing is I Could Have Danced All Night, and I think that's an audience favorite as well. My major inspirations have been, first and foremost, Leontyne Price, who is an absolute goddess. One of the greatest voices of all time. And any of the Golden Age singers, really, Birgit Nilsson and Maria Callas and Tebaldi, Renata Scotto, all those wonderful singers, and actors, actresses. As far as my singing journey, I was a competitive dancer my whole life, and when I got into high school, I liked singing, and then I found musical theater, and I could sing and dance at the same time, so I gave that a try. And when I went to audition for a performing arts high school, and I sang for them, they're like, have you heard of opera? And I didn't know I had an opera voice. I didn't even know what opera was other than Bugs Bunny up until that point. So I was accepted, but I was forced to go see an opera, and I went and saw Tosca at the Met with my mom, and it was the best experience ever. And I immediately fell in love that night and said, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. And that's what I've been doing for the rest of my life so far. My musical journey then after that was I went to college. I got my Bachelor of Music degree for vocal performance. And then I went out into the real world. And I sang all over the place, a lot in New York, because New York is the hub for all the arts. But I also spent some time in Austria, and I went back many years to Hawaii, and love it there. It's like a second home to me. And yeah, I just really go with the flow. I audition for the next thing, and the next gig comes along, and I just keep going. And I plan on just continuing to go with the flow, which really applies to everything in life right now, with this pandemic and everything. Art and music are a universal language, and we can communicate with people from all over the world through our art and through the music that we create. And it's times like this that we're experiencing right now, where there's this epidemic affecting the entire globe, where we really need to be able to communicate with each other in a loving and peaceful way. And I think there's no better way to do that than through the language of art. So I hope you guys enjoy our show today, And sorry we can't be doing it in person this time around. But as soon as everybody gets better and the world starts to heal, we'll be back and singing, and we can't wait to see you then. All right, thanks.
My name is Erica. I'm a mezzo-soprano, and I have been singing with Opera Night Long Island for about 6 years, ever since I moved to the city. I had met Danielle in a summer program and kept in touch with her, and so when I moved out here, she told me about the opportunity to sing in different recitals and venues out in Long Island, and I took her up on it, and I'm very glad I did. I have always been a singer in some capacity. I started singing in choirs when I was maybe 7 or 8 years old, and I did a lot of choral singing in my youth and in undergrad. And actually, even to this day, I am currently a professional choral artist in the tri-state area, which means I do a lot of professional choral gigs. I have church work that I do, mostly choral stuff, some solo if I can get it. So since being in New York, it's kind of hard to find opportunities sometimes. I'm very grateful to have Opera Night Long Island to come out and work on some new arias and put things in front of an audience and really be able to hone and like work the arias so they're a proper package. This year I have major aspirations to get proper management and do all the things that a solo opera singing artist would like to do. So that's really what I love to do. As far as influences on me when I was growing up in music, my mother was always an influence. When I was younger, she would take me to her voice lessons and I would sit underneath the piano while she had her voice lesson. That was always interesting. I don't know, back then, it didn't really make much sense to me back then, but that's something that's always stuck in my head. As far as professional singers that I aspire or who influence me, I've always loved and will always adore and always want to be Dame Janet Baker, because she is the most fantastic mezzo. I would love to be her. Someone once told me that I reminded them of her, and it was the highest compliment ever. During all this craziness of COVID-19 and just the world being in such disarray and panic, and it's all crazy, I really think the arts are important to keep us grounded. We have so much tradition in the arts, and no matter if it's sacred or secular, you pick your poison either way. But there's something about music especially that just can speak to our souls, that can either calm us or give us energy. It can be a little frightening sometimes, but those frightening things always resolve into something more peaceful. So I think it's a nice, we're sort of finding a new soundtrack to our lives, and it's really interesting. So right now I think it's really important that we continue to make art, to do music, and to bring it to everyone like you, so that we're there to help others through this process as well. So thank you very much for listening tonight. I hope you enjoy.
Hello everyone, my name is Bruce Solomon. I'm a tenor and I live in Huntington. My formal music training began at the Juilliard School of Music pre-college. From there I went on to Queens College and then to the Manhattan School of Music. About 10 years ago, Isabella called me at my job and she said, I heard about you and would love for you to participate in this series that I have called Opera Night. And I said, well, that's great, but what is that? She said, well, it's kind of like an open mic for opera singers. You can come sing whatever you want. There's a beautiful piano there, and we have an accompanist. Sometimes Isabella plays. So I said, well, that's great. Let me think about it. So those of us who know Isabella, let me think about it, really doesn't work. So after several calls, she finally convinced me, yes, I will do this. And it was a great experience. I want to tell you that I really have enjoyed the series. The audience is wonderful. The community is wonderful. And my colleagues, the young, beautiful singers, just inspiring. And I think one of the reasons why this program works so well is because the audience loves it and the singers learn from this experience and they can hone their skills and test out different repertoire. So I think it's really, really a very, very good program. And I'm so excited to be part of it. My goal at this point in my life is to let people know, young and old, to never, ever give up your dreams. And, art is ageless, and you must continue to do what you love always. Thank you so much, and enjoy the concert.
I am Ariana Warren, and I am a mezzo-soprano from East Northport, Long Island. I first joined Opera Night around 2009. Actually, my mother in I think 2007, 2008 started singing with Opera Night, and I came to watch my mother perform, and I fell in love with it, and I was an aspiring singer at that point. And Isabella was so welcoming, and she allowed me to come in and sing. I believe it was my freshman year of high school in 2009, and I started with my Little Nisma solo, and I've been able to come back at least once a year throughout college, but now that I'm home on Long Island again full time, I get to sing a lot more often, which is a wonderful thing. My favorite piece or composer, I love anything French. I love all of the French repertoire, especially French opera. My favorite role to sing right now is Carmen, and I was lucky enough to make my role debut with her last summer in Kentucky, in Louisville, Kentucky, with Canto Vocal Programs. So that's my all-time favorite. It's a classic. My singing inspirations. I love the mezzo-soprano Anita Rashvilashvili. She is one of my all-time favorite Carmens. I also love Maria Callas, and I also love Giulietta Simeonato. My journey. So last December, I just graduated with my master's degree from Arizona State University. I got a master's degree in opera performance and musical theater. And before that, I got my dual bachelor's degree from Ithaca College in upstate New York, where I got a degree in music education and vocal performance. Right now, I'm currently auditioning for young artist programs with opera companies all across the country and living the dream. I think music and art is so important at times like this. It's just an incredible form of expression. You can make music by yourself, with one or two people, with a whole group of people. The possibilities are endless. There's no right or wrong. There's no limitations. There's so many instruments. There's so many ways you can use your voice. There's really no limits. So try it. And I hope everyone's staying safe and healthy during this scary time. And I hope you enjoy some opera tonight. Enjoy.
Il dolcissimo